So now, with this extension,
Yes.
where particularly, or what particularly should these funds begin to focus on? Because it now seems as if, even giving the farmers this money at this particular point in time, might not totally help us much. So, with the extension of the scheme, should some of the money now, or most of the money is now be diverted to trying to improve or get better equipment for the farmers? Because you see, these days we're trying to move from subsistence farming to mechanized farming. So should the funds now be channeled to equipment, and then, okay, let's just say 60% of the funds, and then maybe 40% of the funds should be given to farmers, African farmers?
Yeah, brilliant idea. That's the way it should work, processing. Now, when we have glut, it's a function of the products not being able to, value not being able to be added to the whatever crops or livestock. Now, so if they focus on processing, packaging, and monitoring and evaluation, I say that because, like China, about 20 years ago, one of the things they did was to give loans for a 7-year period. You use the loan in your business for 4 years, and you now pay back in 3 years. It worked. It can only work when there's proper monitoring. So if you put the money in production, in processing, you will get more jobs created. You will get more, and you will get more people to go into fabrication. So the job creation actually is even in the value chain. While if we only stay at what is being produced presently, that is optimally being processed, will still create a new industry.
What about improving competition among farmers? Because you see, you know, these days everybody looks at it that, okay, you're doing poultry, you're doing cash crops and the rest of it. There's really no competition. And so you bring out 1,000 tubers of yam, I bring out 1,500 piggy.
Harriet, to be very honest with you, we are not really practicing farming in this country. To be very honest with you, we travel far. Even the people that make that, that are bringing this policy, they know that this is not how to practice farming, in the sense that once the environment is not conducive, it's very hard. Farming is not like every other sector, like a quick fix sectors. It takes time. And the government policy has always been the problem of agriculture in this country. And the money is getting to the wrong hand instead of the real farmer. I keep on saying this, and this thing needs to be changed. Just like what my brother have said, that, listen, they know where the farmers are. They know the real farmers. Have a stakeholders meeting. Sit down with the real farmers. Not people just sitting down in the office that have nothing to show that, okay, I'm a real farmer or something like that. So we need to go mechanize. That's the only way we can encourage our youth to come into the farming. Because no youth will like to go to the farm with a cutlass in their hand and hose at the back of their hand.
So that's one solution to making the industry more attractive.
More attractive.
Mr. Mogaji, in terms of I still want to talk about this competitiveness, improving competitiveness among farmers. What other solutions can we look at, you know, to make the agribusiness become more competitive than it already is?
Good. Presently, it's competitive. It is. It's just that the more competitive it is, the better for the industry.
And the better also for us to be able to compete on the global level.
On a global level. Now, you see, when it comes to like inputs, let's take our focus off production now. Inputs. There's a computer term, garbage in, garbage out. So input, if we open up input and put we fund the quarantine to do good jobs, because quarantine is not adequately funded presently. So you want to bring in good seeds that will give you maybe 3 times the yield, not genetically modified, hybrids. Now, if you bring those things in, if you allow them to genuinely come in without being smuggled in, it means that a whole value chain has been opened. Already there's what you call the seed entrepreneur. It already exists in the ministry. Okay? Now, let's develop people who will bring in quality products, maybe would have 1 or 2 benefits in terms of yield or disease resistance and or high immunity. If we open up that value chain, many people will be able to come in. Like, take for instance Ghana. I did quite some research and work in Ghana. Now, the way it works in Ghana is government is only creating a platform. And they're allowing the private sector to do the job. But here, Government is trying to do the job and not the platform. Now, what Dr. Akinwumi has done well, but beyond the policies, monitoring, I will emphasize that monitoring is really, really missing. Rice is produced, we have our rice production. Yes, rice is produced, but the question is, where is this rice? You need to see the level of, I see them, level of importation. It has nothing to do with the Minister of Agriculture. It has to do with customs. Bulk of the challenge that we have in the industry is customs. 2 months ago, when I was here, I spoke about tomatoes. I said tomatoes will move from 3,000 naira to 15,000. As I speak now, the least basket is 12,000.
12,000. Oh, yes, because recently somebody actually went to the market to buy a basket of tomatoes, and let's say the person went on Monday and they told her 7,500. She went less than 48 hours after and they said 13,000 naira.
If you want to buy choice graded tomatoes, it's 15,000 naira. Now, all we need to do is focus on the value chain. Some of us know when these things go up. 2 months ago, and now it's reality. And by 15th of June, it's going to hit 20.
20,000
Between 15 and 20.
Yes,
This
but
is
there's
the way,
no storage facilities.
this is the way it has been in the last 8 years.
And we continue.
Every year, we monitor it. Now, the thing is, it's not that the dry season support funds that was given in January ought to have been focused on, like tomato, peppers, that will go expensive May, June every year. Instead of just giving them to produce anything, and they produce watermelon, cucumber, and you get to the market, cucumber is rotting away. So, actually having real information to plan with. If you tell a youth, and I emphasize that, you grow tomatoes when they are selling for 3,000 and you make 15,000, they will rush to the farm. Of course. So the real information is not getting to the people that make these policies. Most of the things we have in our industry, they're ideas. And when it comes to implementation, you need to build the castle in the air, but build pillars that people can climb into it.
Well, Mr. Mogaji, we'll definitely look at how far this credit facility, will go in terms of ensuring that all the value chains are, benefit better from it, and of course that it focuses on those key issues that you both mentioned on the program this morning. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in. It's been an interesting conversation, and I'm very sure that even though it's supposed to be starting from 2016, we'll still have to talk about it again sometime before the end of 2014, I'm sure. But thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, I've been speaking to two farmers, African Farmer Mortgagees, an agric information broker and consultant, and Wale Oyekoya. He's the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Bama Farms, and we've been looking at the agricultural sector, but particular emphasis on the extension of the Commercial Agriculture Credit Scheme. Of course, both farmers have actually highlighted the issues and the best solutions that actually can work and ensure that all farmers concerned, whether it's small farmer or large-scale farmer, can benefit adequately from it. But just before we wrap up the show, let's quickly take a look at some major markets from outside our shores. We'll start with the U.S. markets. And U.S. stocks actually finished broadly higher yesterday, with the S&P 500 setting a new record as investors chaired a batch of better than expected economic reports and merger activities. It actually seems as if a consumer confidence rose in May. And so the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished 0.42% higher at 16,675.50. The S&P 500 appreciated by 0.60% to finish at 1,911.91. The Nasdaq garnered 1.22% to finish at 4,237.07. And the Asian stock markets also rose today, following another record high for the S&P 500 index overnight and the prospect of fresh monetary stimulus in Europe. The Nikkei 225 appreciated by 0.24% to finish at 14,670.95. The Hang Seng index added 0.69%. That's about 159.30 basis points added to close at 23,103.60. The Shanghai Composite Index appreciated by almost 0.8% to finish at 2,050.23. And in early trade, European shares were actually mixed at the time we got those numbers, but most likely these numbers would have changed. But what we had from early trade shows that they actually failed to match the higher move in Asian and US markets. The FTSE 100 down about 0.90 basis points. The CAC 40 also down 0.05%. Only the DAX was trending positive territory at the time of getting these numbers, 0.04% higher at 9,944.43. Well, that's Business Morning for today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Of course, much later in the day, we should have the closing figures from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Trading has commenced, and right now, early figures yet, and the market is still looking good. But that's Business Morning. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbinyi.